Hey, what's up guys, it's Dom from Whole Printing Inc. In today's exciting video, I'm sharing with you guys how to get the perfect best settings for your DTF L1800 printer. So I made videos like these in the past. Make sure you click right here if you haven't already checked them out to make sure you find out what best settings works for you. Take a look at the older video, this video, and do your own testing. This video is going to be on how to get the best settings in my personal opinion. So let's get right into the video. My name is Dom. I own Whole Printing Inc. I've been in the printing industry for years now. I've worked with many big corporations and I help you on your printing journey. Once you open the file and you have your file here, you want to make sure that all of the files you're about to print have a resolution of at least 300 by 300 dpi. So for example, in this DTF transfer image, we have 300 by 420 millimeters, and the actual size of the design is the output size. So this can give you a rough idea of the actual size of the transfer. As you can see, I'm moving it now. So if I'm going to size it down, as you can see, the actual width and height has changed. So I'll keep scaling it down, and as you can see, it keeps changing. So this is the actual size of your image, and this is the size of your layout, the actual transfer you're going to be printing. If your DTF transfer or your roll of transfers is wider than 300 millimeters, you can change the 300 here. And if you have rolls, you can actually increase this so you can print more and more transfers on a single layout if you have multiple of these to do. So this is for layout. So we pretty much covered everything there is to it. Usually when you load up your file, it's going to look something like this. You need to make sure you right click and you click mirror before you do anything else. So like I said, we have the resolution down 300 dpi by 300. And this example is a bit more because I scaled it down. If I scale it up, it's going to go lower. That's normal. You want to make sure you have around 300. That's ideal. So once that is done, layout is done, DPI is okay, we're going to go over to printer here on the bottom right. So once you click on printer, you're going to have a few options that pop up. You're going to have the printer you've selected. So this is perfect. You're going to have the port. This is the USB that connects from your laptop to the printer. And then you're going to have resolution. This is where it gets important, guys. Resolution you want to set anywhere, in my opinion, from 1440 by 1440 dpi all the way up 2880 by 2880. This is basically the pixels per inch, in other words. So you want to make sure you have your resolution for your white anywhere between those settings. You can use lower or higher settings. It's just going to take more time to print if you use higher settings. And the same thing is true for your color. Now, the other thing I need you guys to take into consideration, if you're using a roll, so you can have either DTF sheets that you put inside of the printer, or you can have DTF rolls. Make sure you select the appropriate one. Just to go back on setup when it comes to resolution, do your own testing. You can start off with the higher resolution for both of them, and you can bring it down if it's not necessarily to have that high resolution. I usually leave it for every single transfer at this, and it gives me amazing results. Now for speed, I usually go by direction. And this is where it also gets important. Wave, I usually leave it off. White dot size. Now, for some of you, you might have something like this, medium plus large or small plus medium. I usually leave it as large, but this is also very important because if ever your DTF printhead is getting older, it's important to increase the white dot size to large. If ever it's a brand new printhead, you can get away with medium plus large, or even in some cases, if you don't need that much white underbase, you can get away with small plus medium. So for you guys that have a brand new printhead, I would probably leave it at medium plus large. If you have an older printhead and you're starting to have issues with the nozzle check, you can put it on large. Now, color dot size, I always leave it on mix. However, same principles apply. If ever you're having issues with the color or you're not having enough color that's getting laid down, you can switch it up to large. However, for me, I usually leave it at mix. So you can also try this, mix for both, and you can do some testing. And if everything's printing well and you have no cracking going on when you put it in the washer and dryer, you can leave it on mix for now. But like I said, this is usually my setup when my printhead is getting older. So like I said, do your own testing, guys, but for an older printhead, large plus mix, you could probably get away if you have a brand new printhead with medium plus large or mix and mix. That does it for the resolution, DPI, the layout, and now the printer section. Let's move on to color. Alright guys, so going on top of color right here, you have user defined print settings. You can leave it at user defined print settings because we're going to be playing around with these settings quite a bit. So ink channel, it really comes down to your CMYK. Let me show you guys an example. So here we have yellow, black, white, magenta, cyan. Let me show you on the printer here. So right here we have yellow, black, white, white, because we have 2 white tubes, magenta, cyan. So this is perfect. And as you can see, we also have all of the colors here. So you want to make sure this is corresponding to your software. So once this is perfect, you're ready to move on to the next step. Now, for here we have color percentage. Honestly, like in this video, you guys will see I always refer back to your own testing. But for us, we're also using AcroRip version 10.1. So in version 10.1, compared to older versions of AcroRip, we only can go up to 100% maximum when it comes to the percentage of inks. So in this example, I have 65% of color. You can play around with these colors however you like. So in this example, we can go ahead and play with the blue percentage if we want a darker blue. We can play around with the yellow percentage if we want a darker yellow, and so on. Or if you want to regroup all of the colors together, you can play with the color contrast itself. So in my experience, the higher you put this number, the more it's going to look darker. And the lower you put this number, the lighter the colors are going to be. So if you want to have a specific color range, like I said, you can play with the colors individually, do your own testing. I usually leave it at 65%. Whenever I want a lighter shade of blue in the same print, I either edit it in Photoshop or I go ahead and I edit it here. It really comes down to your own personal preference. I prefer to edit everything in Photoshop and do my own testing and leave all of these settings as stable as humanly possible. So this is for color. Main tip you guys want to have when it comes to color: the lower the percentage, the lighter the color; the higher the percentage, the darker the color. Moving down here to white percentage, this is also very important. You might have something like this when you first get your DTF printer. Might look something like 50% or 65%. Now, if you have a brand new printhead, you can leave it at 50 to 70%. That's perfect. However, again, as the same principle as I was saying for printer here, as your printhead gets older and older, you're gonna wanna increase the white ink percentage because you're gonna start to have darker and darker prints on the backing of your transfers. So if ever you're starting to realize that your transfers are getting darker when it comes to the white underbase, it's important to increase the white ink percentage to have more vibrant prints. So this really comes down to your own personal testing. And again, the more you increase the percentage here on both ends, the thicker your DTF print is going to be. Some people like it, some people feel like the actual transfer is too thick in some cases, so do your own testing. But like I said, you should be good anywhere from 50 to 70%, and if ever you're having issues, go higher and higher until the printhead is no longer good. Now for input output, it's always at 0. Brightness and contrast, again, really comes down to the specific transfer you're printing. If I was, let's say, to print out this transfer and I want it to be more brighter and have more contrast, I would play around with these settings. Here we have ICC profile. I won't go too deep into ICC profiles, but you can build your own color accuracy profile and you can import it into this folder right here. And it's going to give you some different options when it comes to playing around with the colors and the quality of your prints. But most of you guys don't need this, so you leave it at off. Now the last thing of this video, we're going to go into white section on the bottom right. Now here, most important step, you want to always have 100% white under any colored pixel. Make sure this is on. I always leave these two at 0. So black handling, I always leave it at 100%. Do not remove black ink, so leave this empty. And for the view, this is basically how you see your DTF transfer before it's printed. I prefer to work on colors so I can see what I'm doing, but you can use anything that's easier for you guys to work with. So when it comes to white, this is basically your white underbase. This is how it's going to look on the bottom of your DTF transfer, and this is the full color preview. Okay, so moving on, white channel settings, 0, that's perfect. This is also very important. Most of you guys are going to have 1 to 2 pixels here all around. I really suggest you guys go to 0 pixel on all 4 rectangles. This is going to minimize the white lines around your DTF images, leaving you with a crispy finish. If you don't remove these and you leave it at 1 to 2 pixels, you might see some white outlines around the smaller details of your DTF prints. The higher you put this, the more you're going to have some issues with the white lines around your images. So that's pretty much it for that. The last step, guys, you have edit here on the top left corner. You want to make sure, like I said, you have everything mirrored. You can center your DTF print if needed. Language, we have view, guidelines, some rulers, some grids, basic stuff. You can play around with this to make this more comfortable for you guys. And file and print, F10. So everything is perfect in our settings. I usually go back to this page right here, make sure my colors are okay. I go 100% because my printhead is very old. File, print, or F10, and then here is where we have some more important information. So 100% white under any colored pixels, you want to make sure this is on. Resolution, that's perfect. Copies, that's good. You want to click here on the bottom where it says print color first. You click here, and then you click where it says white plus color. You go where it says copy 0, you click 1. This is very important if you want to print successfully. And then you click either white plus color or print color first. It doesn't matter which one you click first. And then you click the other one, and then you can print. You also have nozzles. I always put it to the maximum nozzles for best quality. You don't have to play around with this. So again, let me do it one more time for you guys. This is how it's gonna look. So the first step, once you get in here, you confirm all of the information. Make sure you double check everything. You want to click on both of these options. Where it says copy 0, you put 1. Click on both of the options again, and then you print. So this was basically the best settings you can use for your DTF L1800 printer. So now for us, ours is currently in maintenance. However, these settings are still very important. If you're using Acrorib version 10.1 and beyond, or before that, these tips and tricks still apply. Make sure you do your own testing. You play around with the percentage of colors to make sure you find the perfect solution for your specific condition of your printer. If you guys found this video somewhat helpful, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new. This was Dom from Hole Printing Inc. Make a print you'll never forget.